He was a small dog.
Yeah, the first time I went to conference for Walmart, they had Lassie there. And so they used 3 different male dogs. And the one I saw, I went, this is so small. But they said, yeah, they can
Gavin, one of our runners today.
Gavin, yeah,
He ran almost every mile, at least a bit of each one. Pretty fast too. Did you have a good time out there?
I cut all my hair off, see?
Did you really?
I did. I cut it off.
I went in for extensions, so I got a bigger beard now. So, you said it was a minute. Was it a miniature collie, you think?
No, it was a miniature collies, Shelties come.
See you, Gavin.
He's a Sheltie.
He's a Sheltie.
He's a big Sheltie, but
Oh.
he's a Sheltie.
Right.
That's what we're
We
eating.
were discussing Lassie.
Yeah, I'll
Lassie
be
was
there.
small.
But Lassie was a collie.
Right, but it
Collies
was
have
small.
Much longer noses.
Right, but Lassie was small. I met him.
Oh, really?
And years ago, I worked for Walmart. We had a meeting in Bentonville, Arkansas. Lassie was small. So not much bigger than him.
Oh, well then, like I said, a Sheltie should be 20 to 25 pounds. He's 47.
Yeah.
He's a well-proportioned Sheltie. He's just big. He does not meet the standards for the breed.
No, and Lassie was a collie, but was very small. Did not meet the breed standards.
Dan here. Dan, how was your running today?
My running was warm,
It was.
very
It was a
warm,
hot
but
day.
it was very fulfilling. Hi, I'm Dan. I don't recognize you.
Oh, you silly man. I just cut it.
It looks great. I love it.
So we're more than halfway through the trip.
Yep. And you know what? I had my hair cut just before I started on the trip.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have it cut short like this because I wasn't hot yet. But, and you saw how fast it grows. So it's going to grow out. By the time we get to Arlington, 50 days from now, it'll be driving me nuts again.
Yep. And mine will hopefully be double
And you know
the
what
length
we
of his.
found at Walmart?
What'd you find at Walmart?
They have a full wall of nothing but soldier pictures
At Walmart?
at Walmart. We all did it. We were all supposed to do it. But this one really appealed to me more than ever. This is pictures of all the ones that they've lost in this town, in this area.
Still is bright enough. Oh, there we go.
0705.
Do you want water?
Yes, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. Some of them looked really young. And, but I didn't take the wall because it was just too much. I would have did it in sections, but that appealed to me.
Yeah.
I went, oh my goodness. Pot yourself in your face.
Good afternoon, folks. How are you? I'm Eric Hansen from FM 95, and I want to thank Bob Spears with Defenders of Freedom for inviting me here today. First of all, let's give a big hand for all the veterans that are here today. And another reason to thank our veterans and fallen soldiers. Any excuse we can come out and do that, even if it's hot, it's just a fraction of gratitude that we should be giving back to our fallen soldiers. And if you're here today but you don't know necessarily what Run for the Fallen is, I'll give a brief synopsis of their history. On Memorial Day of 2008, Norfolk, Virginia, the Honor and Remember flag was publicly unveiled to become a national recognized symbol of remembrance. The flag was established as a tangible reminder to all Americans of the high price paid for the freedoms we enjoy. About a week and a half later, a dedicated team of runners participated in the first Run for the Fallen and ran 4,100 miles across America from Fort Irwin, California to Arlington National Cemetery, 1 mile for every soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine killed since the War on Terror began. Now, in hopes of creating a greater impact in 2014, Honor and Remember and the Run for the Fallen organizations combined resources and were officially merged, dedicated to consistently growing the mission, paying tribute to many more state military fallen heroes and their families. And Run for the Fallen's here today. Who saw some of them out running today? Let's give them a big hand. Some of those runners are here. 5 months, 6,000 miles, and they're still going. 19 states, 20,000 fallen heroes recognized. America's Run for the Fallen is here in Galesburg, Illinois. Everyone, let's turn and face the flag. You all are, and we'll lead in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
The republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, our opening prayer will be led by Chaplain Major Scott Wilson, Illinois Air National Guard and pastor of Bethel Baptist Church, Galesburg, Illinois.
Thank you. Would you join me in a word of prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together. We gather together today to honor and celebrate the lives of those who have made this ultimate sacrifice. And your holy word says, greater love has no one than this, to lay down his life for his friend. And so today we pause to reflect on the love that we have for the men and women who laid down their lives. And we thank you for those who have worked so hard to make today's event special, for the Gold Star families, for the runners, for the participants and community leaders who are joining us. May you be glorified by this ceremony as we honor our fallen heroes. Psalm 34:18 says, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. May you be close to us and bless us with peace that surpasses all understanding. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll welcome the Mayor of Galesburg, John Pritchard.
Thank you, Eric. You know, you speak really well. You ought to get a job where you talk for a living. I'm just saying. Okay. Well, it says here, welcome to Galesburg. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody who came out tonight to honor our veterans and those who have fallen in service to our country. I believe, I don't know if all 6 runners are here. If they would just kind of raise their hands so we can see who they are. I know I was talking to one. There you go. Yeah, they don't want to, and there's some more back there. Thank you very much. Welcome to Galesburg. We're glad you're here. I have to say this. My wife apparently stopped in the same place where some of the runners were at the end of the day. She said the runners look pretty wiped out, but you guys all look fresh as a daisy. So you must do this every day. So anyway, so welcome to Galesburg. We're proud to participate in this event, and we thank you for running across the country. It's pretty amazing, and I think we have at least one Gold Star wife here. I think I see her. Thank you very much for coming, and of course we remember your husband, Mr. Worley. So with that, I'm done with the welcome. So we'll move on.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will welcome from Run for the Fallen, Mr. George Lutz.
Good. Thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you for this amazing welcome. This is incredible. I will tell you that this is one of the most beautiful sights that we have stopped at and had a closing ceremony in our number of days that we have been running. Eric pretty much said everything that I needed to say. So you guys know the Honor and Remember organization, founded 10 years ago. This is our 10th anniversary. Yesterday was actually the 10th anniversary of the first Run for the Fallen, which started on Flag Day of '08. And we are running across America to honor 20,000 fallen service members. I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. And I've been told sometimes that I just talk too much. But I'm going to give you just a little more detail about the run, and then I'm going to back off and continue with our ceremony. But that 20,000 and the significance of that 20,000 is that this represents every man or woman who died while serving our nation in the military in the last 18 years. From October 12, 2000, with the bombing of the USS Cole, we identified and compiled the names of every single fallen serviceman and woman. 20,000, working with the DOD. You ask us, how do you get that number? Well, working with the DOD and with a number of other organizations, and especially with organizations who are involved with post-traumatic stress and families that have actually lost their loved ones because of those hidden wounds of post-traumatic stress. Because this run not only included those that died while serving, but also who died as a result of serving. So this is where we get our compilation of number. And then what do we do with that number? We found a commonality that made sense for us so that we could properly and respectfully honor these men and women by identifying their dates of death. And so what we do as an organization, what we're doing as America's Run for the Fallen, and that's why we called it America's Run for the Fallen, is that we have taken those dates from October 12, 2000 in the USS Cole, and we have consecutively added a date of death for every mile that we're running across the nation. And so by painting a picture for you, we start with October 12, 2000. Our next mile is October 13, 2000, if there was a casualty, and then on and on and on. So we are running across the country from oldest casualties to current casualties, and we are now running for the year 2010. We've just crossed into 2010. And so we started with '00. We're in the middle of the country, and we're at 2010. And when we end in Arlington Cemetery on August 5th, we will have literally named the very last person who gave their life at that moment in time. So this is why we call this the most comprehensive fallen veteran tribute ever compiled, because I don't know that anyone has ever tried to actually identify every hero in our contemporary society who gave their life for our freedom here and now today, and be able to say that they called their name out loud so that they were not forgotten. Not by America, not by us, not by the families who know how important that is. We even have a live feed going on our truck pointing to the runners so that anybody could watch us all day long honoring heroes mile after mile. If you haven't seen that live feed, runforthefallen.org, there's a button there that just says live feed, and you can watch us all day long. Don't tell your bosses, but just put your little camera there and next to your computer. But it is important because we have given an opportunity for everyone in the world to identify and recognize and appreciate with us every one of those men and women who died for us. And that's important, right? You wouldn't be here if you did not think that that was important. And so I appreciate, my team appreciates that you have gathered together here tonight, not to support us or, to give us any kind of praise, because it's not about us. There's only one of us on the team right now that's even former military. We're all just civilians, moms and dads who just believe, because of our military connection, not our military service, that we need to appreciate these men and women. So very quickly, what happened, if you haven't watched, we're not just saying we're running for these heroes. As I said, we've identified them and we're calling their names out loud. But when we have a full contingent of runners, they are not just running a mile and then running another mile. They're actually working harder than that. They're carrying 4 full-size flags when they run. And we have that happen when the runners come and they go, oh, we thought we were just going to run. We've never carried a flag before. Well, we're going to teach you how to do that, because we want to be consistent in our honor and respectful in our honor and ceremonial in our honor. Best way of putting it. So 4 flags we carry. I can only hold up 3 fingers, but I really have 4. 4 flags. We're carrying the United States flag because it's our nation that we're running for. We're carrying the state flag because we're honoring the state that we're running through. We're carrying a flag that we established a few years ago called the Honor and Sacrifice flag, because it recognizes our fallen police officers and firefighters. And they're very often, through Illinois, have been escorting us. So we want to make sure that through that escort process, they know that we may not be calling their brethren's names out loud, but we haven't forgotten their service and their sacrifice as well. And the 4th flag we carry is the Honor and Remember flag. And that flag was established through our organization 10 years ago to be left as a legacy in this nation, for a way for all of our citizenry to show their appreciation for every casualty that was ever lost in the history of our country. And so those are the 4 flags that we carry. Along with that, we carry a placard with the names and the date that we're reading for, and a set of flags, a small set of Honor and Remember and U.S. flag. 1 set for every hero whose name is on that placard. Now, every date of death isn't just one. It could be 1 hero, or it could be as many as 50 heroes. 9/11 was, I think, our biggest day so far. 57 military men and women were lost on 9/11. And so we read however many there are. So we carry those sets of flags. We come to the mile marker. We come to attention. We ask if there's any Gold Star families present, because often there are, off the placard, by starting like this. This hero marker is dedicated to all those military service members who lost their lives on this particular day, whatever that date may be. And then we read the names, and as we're reading those names, those sets of flags are planted in the ground in honor. Once they're all planted, we step back, we render a hand salute or hand over the heart in honor of each one of those, and then we pick up the placards for the next mile, the next date of death, and off we go. Our team does that mile after mile, a minimum of 40 to 60 miles a day, 10 hours of running until we've completed that day's heroes. And what happens at the end of the day is I get to have a few minutes to share what our vision is. But then we reread those names that we ran for today, because there weren't a lot of people there at those markers. We don't know how many people are watching our live feed, and there's a lot of road noise. If you are listening, you'll hear the cars go by and the semis go by. It's very difficult sometimes to hear a name being called unless you're right there. And we want to make sure that as a team, whether we're with anybody or not, sometimes we're not. There's nobody that meets us at the end of the day, believe it or not. We've had many days like that. We reread those names to make sure that they have been sent into the atmosphere, if you will, but for those that are with us, can hear them and can stand for the very families that cannot be with us. So we're going to take the time to read those names now. Those names that we ran for just today. We ran 49 markers. 49, and what are they? They're 49 dates of death, correct? 49 miles, 49 markers, 49 dates of death. And we ran for, in those 49 days, 159 service members lost their lives. 159 in 49 days. And Kristen, when she comes up, will tell you the date. That's only 49. Those are 40. It's a little over a month. I mean, you get the connection. 49 dates of death, 49 miles. It's consecutive. It's 49 days. So a little over a month, almost a month and a half. You guys ready? So I'm going to let them read, and then we're going to going to identify some other families that are with us.
The dates that we ran for today were January 23rd through March 14th, 2010. Can everyone silence their cell phones as well, please? Specialist Derek Dean Phillips, United States Army. Private First Class Darius James Ray, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Jeremy M. Kane, United States Marine Corps Reserves. Lieutenant Clinton Ronald Wormers, United States Navy. Petty Officer Second Class Yin Key, United States Navy. Sergeant Daniel M. Angus, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Timothy J. Poole, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Zachary D. Smith, United States Marine Corps. Petty Officer First Class Desmond Michael Fitzgerald, United States Navy. Senior Airman Donald Xavier Ann, United States Air Force. Staff Sergeant Anthony Ralph Sharer, United States Army. Sergeant David James Smith, United States Marine Corps Reserves. Specialist David John Tettrell, United States Army. Sergeant Carlos E. Gill, United States Army. Staff Sergeant J. Edward Perkins III, United States Army. Senior Airman Christine Antoinette Pilastri, United States Air Force. Chief Petty Officer Bromine Moraine McMorris, United States Navy. Private First Class Scott G. Barnett. Staff Sergeant Rusty H. Christian, United States Army. Captain David J. Thompson, United States Army. Master Sergeant Randall Taylor Lovett, United States Air Force. Specialist Mark Paul Decote, United States Army National Guard. Captain Tony Mac Brannon, United States Army. Corporal Dustin L. Turpin, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant Earl Hassel Caudle, United States Army. Sergeant Kenneth Gonzalez, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Tara Marie Mendez, United States Air Force. Seaman Kyle Chase Antonashi, United States Navy. Private First Class Jonathan Patrick McGinley, United States Army. Captain Daniel Witten, United States Army. Private First Class Zachary G. Lovejoy, United States Army. Sergeant First Class David J. Hartman, United States Army. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Clayton M. Hickman. Chief Warrant Officer 4, Gary Mark Farwell, United States Army.
Staff Sergeant Mark Allen Stutz Jr., United States Army.
Sergeant First Class Matthew S. Slust-Tiller, United States Army. Specialist Michael Tarek Snellgrove, United States Army. Sergeant David Clay Prescott Jr., United States Army. Master Sergeant Ivan Jovelano Coronado, United States Air Force. Specialist Richard Allen Rose, United States Army. Sergeant Dylan B. Fox, United States Army. Specialist Luke Matthew Heck, United States Army. Specialist Michael Robert Pellicari, United States Army. Chief Petty Officer Stephen Eric Poteet, United States Navy. Private First Class Michael Joe Panna, United States Army. Chief Warrant Officer 5 John Olin Cunningham Jr., United States Army. Private First Class Charles A. Williams, United States Army. Airman First Class Deshaun Durrell Butler II, United States Air Force. Captain Amanda Christine Harrington, United States Air Force. Captain Joseph Michael Gauthier, United States Air Force. Sergeant Adam J. Ray, United States Army. Sergeant Patrick Fitzgerald Anderson, United States Army. Master Sergeant Gordon W. Severs, United States Air Force. Master Chief Petty Officer Andrew Joseph Palas, United States Navy. Staff Sergeant Michael Wayne Tinsley, United States Army. Chief Warrant Officer 3 Richard Stephen Swiger, United States Army. Private First Class Adriana Alvarez, United States Army.
Sergeant Terry Lynn Riesling, United States Army. Petty Officer Anthony Charles Pepper, United States Navy. Major Mark Martin Maximilian Benowski, United States Air Force. Specialist Cale D. Clay, United States Air Force. Private First Class Powell Sebastian Seraphin, United States Army. Private Victor Robert Adame, United States Army. Staff Sergeant John A. Reinard, United States Army. Sergeant Jeremiah T. Whitman, United States Army. Specialist Bobby J. Pagan, United States Army. Sergeant Clinton W. Dickey, United States Army. Lance Corporal Ezekiel Nicholas Fieri, United States Marine Corps. Corporal Jacob H. Turbett, United States Marine Corps. Lieutenant Eric Wayne Eames, United States Navy. Private Lucia Farawati Wujija, United States Army. Sergeant Paul Marshall Mamuka, United States Army. Senior Airman Edwin Michael Blackford III, United States Air Force. Private First Class Jason H. Estopinal, United States Marine Corps. Staff Sergeant Soto Javier Archangel Boss, United States Army. Lance Corporal Alejandro J. Yazzie, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Noah M. Pierre. Lance Corporal Noah M. Pierre, United States Marine Corps. Petty Officer Ronald Tyler Woodle, United States Navy. Petty Officer Second Class Ronald Tyler Woodley, United States Navy. Petty Officer First Class Sean L. Kaufman, United States Navy. Private First Class Eric D. Courier, United States Marine Corps. Staff Sergeant William Peter Haggerty Jr., United States Army. Airman Basic Kenneth Rick Redding, United States Air Force. Lance Corporal Keelan T. Dunn, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant Jeremy R. McCurry, United States Marine Corps. Private First Class Kyle J. Kutu, United States Marine Corps. Corporal Gregory S. Stoltz, United States Marine Corps. Major John Gregory Martin, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Joshua H. Birchfield, United States Marine Corps. Chief Petty Officer John Glenn Conyers, United States Navy. Petty Officer Second Class Marlon Francisco Mallory, United States Navy. Seaman Patrick Freeberg, United States Navy. Private First Class Jeremy James Whitfield, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Michael David P. Carninaz, Staff Sergeant Michael David P. Carninaz, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Christopher W. Eckert, United States Marine Corps. Petty Officer Second Class Stuart Kyle Young, United States Navy. Private Gabriel Antique A. Cavaluzzi, United States Army. Sergeant Elias Lopez Jr., United States Army. Chief Warrant Officer 3, Charleston James Winston, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Robert A. Cheever, United States Army. Sergeant Marcos Gora, United States Army. Private First Class Robinio Salvacion Jr., United States Army. Chief Warrant Officer the second Class Billy J. Grinder, United States Army National Guard. Captain Marcus R. Elford, United States Army National Guard. Lance Corporal Adam D. Peake, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Matthias N. Hansen, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Eric L. Ward, United States Marine Corps. Private First Class Autumn Michelle Shannon, United States Army. Corporal Daniel T. Leary, United States Army. Is that O'Leary? Corporal Daniel T. O'Leary, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Arthur Lee Kessinger Jr., United States Army. Sergeant Richard Michael Glidden Sr., United States Army.
Specialist Dustin Ray Simmons, United States Army. Private First Class William S. Ricketts, United States Army. Sergeant Ishmael Rentas Jr., United States Marine Corps. Captain Richard Shant Rumian, United States Navy. Specialist Joseph Lottie Ballard, United States Army. Sergeant Vincent L. C. Owens, United States Army. Specialist Matthew D. Houston, United States Army. Specialist Josiah D. Crumpler, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Darian L. Kirby, United States Army. First Sergeant Anthony Dion Brock, United States Army. Specialist Ian T. D. Gellick, United States Army. Lance Corporal Carlos A. Aragon, United States Marine Corps Reserve. First Lieutenant Michael Thomas Jew, United States Army. Private Anthony Roland Milo, United States Army. Specialist Anthony A. Pachi, United States Army. Command Sergeant Major Ray Donald Lane, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Shelia Blair Taylor, United States Army. Lance Corporal Nigel K. Olson, United States Marine Corps. Specialist Alan N. Dixis, United States Army. Petty Officer First Class Robert Lawrence Mudd, United States Navy. Private First Class Jacob Keith Colclough, United States Army. Chief Warrant Officer 4 Derwin Keith McGriff, United States Marine Corps. Private Nicholas S. Cook, United States Army. Master Sergeant Wally Lanier, United States Air Force. Corporal Brandon T. Nyland, United States Marine Corps. Specialist Lakeisha M. Bailey, United States Army. Sergeant Aaron M. Arthur, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Daniel Jacob Van Meter, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Nicanor Lopez Caboteja, Jr., United States Marine Corps. Sergeant Jonathan J. Richardson, United States Army. Private First Class Jason M. Kropat, United States Army. Sergeant Thomas Etzip Elliott, United States Marine Corps. Petty Officer First Class Marcelo Galapate Cadiente, Jr., United States Navy. Sergeant First Class Benjamin T. Miller, United States Army. Lance Corporal Garrett W. Gamble, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant First Class Glenn J. Whitten, United States Army. Tech Sergeant Raymond Monserrati Natividad, United States Air Force. Master Sergeant Darnell Eric Breeden, United States Air Force. Corporal Jonathan D. Portal, United States Marine Corps. Private First Class Aaron Lee McClyman, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Kevin Michael Link, United States Army. Specialist Stephen J. Bishop, United States Army. Lance Corporal Gregory Michael Sudemeyer, United States Marine Corps. Senior Chief Petty Officer Kimberly D. Hunter, United States Navy. Sergeant Sean C. Duran, United States Army National Guard. Specialist Curtis James Davies, United States Army. Specialist Vega Eric Joel George, United States Army. Sergeant Nicholas Jeremiah Smith, United States Marine Corps. Ensign Zachary Brian Norbaum, United States Navy.
"159 heroes over 49 days. That is one of our smallest numbers that we've read in an evening. If you could just bow your heads with me as we reflect on those names and remember their families as well. Amen. Gold Star families. I hope that you all know what the term Gold Star families means. For our purpose, there are a lot of definitions that are bandied about in our country. But for our purpose, a Gold Star family is one who lost their loved one while serving in the military or as a result of serving. And we have a number of Gold Star families here with us tonight. And I think that Pam has a special gift for them. I'm going to read their names, and if they'll come forward, please, so we can recognize them and honor them. Sergeant Douglas J. Riney, if I said that correctly. We have Pam Boland from Galesburg, Florida. Is that right? Somebody wrote Florida on here. Illinois. I knew I was wrong when I saw that. Thank you, dear. Bad handwriting. Was that mine? Sorry. Corporal Josh Palmer. Carol and Doug Palmer from La Harpe, Illinois. Are they here? Palmers? Thank you. In honor of Sergeant Christopher Talbert, Amanda and Terry Talbert from East Galesburg, Illinois. Talbert family here? That's all right. I'm just, thank you. That's all right. Don't want to miss anyone. Thank you, dear. Staff Sergeant Mark A. Stetch Jr., Mark and Nancy, from Virginia Beach, all the way from Virginia Beach, Virginia, to be at their son's marker today. And this is Max, also from Virginia Beach. Corporal Bryant Luxmore. And we have Jamie Luxmore Johnson, Chris Johnson, Lane Luxmore, Leonard Luxmore, Brenda Luxmore, Lori Lower, and Joe Lowry. Did I get it right? From New Windsor, Illinois. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Honoring Corporal Evan James, Mike and Donna James from La Harpe, Illinois. Thank you. Gunny Sergeant Justin Martoni, Paulette and Augie Martoni from Prescott Valley, Arizona, part of my crew as we travel the country. I have one more name to call. I should have had the Jameses stay up, but are there any Gold Star? There's one here for Wearleys. Wearleys? Is that pronounced right? Worley? I'm going to call the Worleys up here, but before I do, are there any Gold Star families here besides that family who has not been identified? Okay. Is there another family? Please, we also would like to honor you. Yes. Who is your hero? Who is your hero? Say your hero's name.
His name is
Want to write it down?
Private First Class Aaron Burns.
Here, write it for me. Thank you. Private First Class Aaron Barnes. The reason I'm going to ask the family of Sergeant First Class Kyle Worley to come up. Rick and Nita Cross, Janet and Kylie Worley from Galesburg. So I'm going to go right into a presentation that I have for them, but also for the James family. I'd like the James family to come up as well. I know they were just up here, Evan James family. The James family on this side, please. So we have one more special presentation, and I'm going to turn it back to Eric, is the Honor and Remember flag. If you two guys would just walk up a little bit, like right even with the podium. Okay, I would like the Luxmore family to come forward. Are they here? Okay, great. Kristen, why don't you stand over there at that end? Thank you. Yeah. What we have here are hand-sewn Honor and Remember flags. I didn't talk a lot about the Honor and Remember flag. I'm not going to take a lot of time to do that. But our organization was founded to leave this legacy of remembrance for our nation, a national remembrance flag, the Honor and Remember flag. It is now adopted in 24 of our 50 states. Illinois is not one of them. Hate to say that, but it isn't. But it is adopted in 24 other states. But one of the things that is important to us, obviously, is remembrance, or we wouldn't be running across the nation calling names out loud. And one of the things we love to do is to be able to individually recognize families in this specific way. And so we have these three families, and families are not singled out by any way or method except request. If you request a flag, you get on a waiting list. Unfortunately, it's a long one. And when that time comes and we're able to, we make presentations. We get more than one request in every day, but we present a flag on the average of one every single day. So we're constantly presenting flags, but we're constantly getting requests. And today, because of our run and stopping here, we were able to identify families who are waiting and to be able to make their flags. We have some other flags here for families that weren't able to make it. And so I would like for, one at a time, Kristen, if you would open that flag for the Luxmore family and show it to them. Augie, if you would open that for the James family, please. and Paulette, if you would open your flag for the Worley family. We honor these three families respectfully and reverently with these flags, meant to be flown as a celebration of their loved one's life, and kept as an heirloom in their families as a reminder of the great memories that each one of these heroes brought to each one of their families and to all of us. And if you don't know their stories, I ask that you please take a moment and speak to them and hear about their loved ones. If you guys would fold those up, present them. Would you honor these families, please, with me? Erica, I turn it back to you.
Another big hand for George Lutz and the whole Run for the Fallen crew, including all the amazing runners, some of which are here. If you'll welcome to the stage now, not just a veteran, but our Illinois State Representative, Dan Swanson. Give him a hand.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you, the Run for the Fallen crew. What a great tribute we just witnessed here. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I may look hot up here, but you know, the one who's probably dressed the hottest is the chaplain who gave the prayer today, is in full military gear. Very impressive, Major. Thank you very much. I want to thank you all for coming out this evening, and what a great honor it is to be a part of this today. We've recognized the Gold Star families, and what a recognition and sacrifice they've done over the years, and given so much. And to them, I want to say thank you very much. And also, as we've done earlier, recognized all our veterans. Thanks for all you have done in the past, and thanks for your service. And it's truly an honor to be called a veteran, and thank you for your service. I'd also like to extend my personal thanks to all those who made this happen today. I know there's been a lot of people behind the scenes putting this together. Bob Spears comes to mind as one. All the financial contributions that have been made, and an organization that's very dear to my heart, the Association of the United States Army, has done a great deal in helping provide some of the funding for tonight's events. And to them, I want to say thank you to Keith Grage, who's with us here this evening representing the AUSA. Thank you very much, Keith. And to all those who've made this happen. What a great day to honor our fallen, their families, our nation, and our loved ones. Just a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we paused and our nation celebrated Memorial Day, a day of remembering. Seeing the way that the community comes together to put on this event is heartful and very impactful to those of us who served in the military. The sense of community, the sense of patriotism, and of giving is what has made this country great. I'd like to share a couple stories of my experiences in Iraq. I actually retired from the military in January 2001 and saw great Americans come home in flag-draped caskets, and decided I need to go serve. So I was called back on active duty in July 2007 and spent a year in Iraq from July 2007 to July 2008. And I want to reflect on a couple great Americans who I lost the year I was there. I'd like to start out first with Staff Sergeant Christopher Frost. He died on 4 March 2008 while serving with the Multinational Security Transition Command Iraq, Operation Freedom. He was assigned to the 377th Air Base Wing, Kirtland, New Mexico. He worked there on the military's public affairs team, which he came to Iraq to do too. Staff Sergeant Frost and I had many discussions. He had a nice family, and I'll talk a little bit about that here soon too, but we did some interviews. He is in public affairs and with my mission, and we had a lot of great discussions. He was very interested in what we were doing. As any reporter, I think Sergeant Frost was looking for that big scoop. He always enjoyed it when he sent an article, newspaper article, or an article back home to the American newspapers to try and get something in the local papers back home. And he was always thrilled to have something published. Well, at that time in Iraq, the command was training Iraqi military in flying Russian Mi-17 HIP helicopters. And when they would leave the base, the American crew would split up between the two aircraft. They always flew in tandem. And the American crew was always a commanding crew of that aircraft. They took off, they flew out. At a midway point, they decided to land. Whether they got fuel, I don't know. But the Iraqi military members convinced the American members, the American soldiers, that they were ready to fly their own aircraft. So they let them. And Sergeant Frost, looking for that big scoop, crawled in that aircraft with that Iraqi crew, the first Iraqi crew. As they took off, they encountered a terrible sandstorm. And the American crew reported that they'd lost their tandem aircraft. I remember when I got the word, in the command I was at, we had abilities to watch satellite imagery. So I went into the room with the satellite imagery as they were scouring the area trying to find this aircraft, but couldn't see it because of the sandstorm. The next day, they went to the site, they found the site, and the reconnaissance team reported all men were lost. Sergeant Frost is survived by his wife, Ashley, a daughter, and a son. Staff Sergeant Frost, a fallen hero, was recognized and honored at mile 49 of day 55, overall miles 2,520 miles, in Kansas on the 31st of May at 16:48 hours. Thank you, Run for the Fallen crew, for recognizing Sergeant Frost. Two other great Americans I lost that I served with, Colonel Stephen Scott and Major Stuart Wolfer, were killed on 6 April 2008. I worked with Colonel Scott on a daily basis. He was a rough old bird, as a full bird colonel. I was just a light colonel, and he reminded me of that a few times. He and I worked on coordinating equipment for the Iraqi Army. He worked in foreign military sales where we'd buy equipment and provide it to the Iraqi Army. Major Wolfer was a United States Army reservist, and he was also a lawyer by trade. But while in Iraq, he worked in the logistics section, coordinating transportation for military personnel. Both officers were killed when a mortar hit the fitness center that Sunday when they were working out. When we held the memorial service at Phoenix Base, which was customary when you lost individuals from your command, Colonel Scott was a Christian. Major Wolfer was of the Jewish faith. So the memorial service consisted of a Christian chaplain, a rabbi, and an Iraqi imam. I just have always reflected back how those two individuals had brought these different faiths together. A fitness center, Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama, has been named in Colonel Scott's honor. He is survived by 2 daughters. Major Wolfer is survived by his wife and 3 daughters. Both Colonel Stephen Scott and Major Wolfer were remembered at mile 29, day 56, overall miles 2,550, state of Kansas. Estimated time of arrival was June 1st at 12:48 hours. Thank you, Run for the Fallen, for doing that. We come together We honor those we love. We honor those we've lost. We honor those who have served, and we pay tribute to those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for us to all enjoy our freedoms. Jane Addams, a great American and Illinoisan, in a speech called Greatness and Commemoration, once asked, "What is it we admire about the service member? It certainly is not that he goes into battle. What we admire about the service member is that he has the power of losing his own life for the life of a larger cause, that he holds his personal suffering of no account, that he flings down in the gauge of battle his all and says, 'I will stand or fall with this cause.' That, it seems to me, is the glorious thing we most admire. We as Americans always admire our soldiers, support our troops, and pray for their safe return to our homes. When that does not happen, one of those soldiers does not return to our homes, we owe them, we owe their families, we owe their loved ones an unpayable debt of gratitude. Not just a trail of gratitude through the United States of America, but a wave of gratitude. We stand here today on the crest of that wave of gratitude. We stand here on the crest and we say a prayer of thanksgiving that men and women like that lived to defend us and our freedoms. We show our gratefulness that soldiers like their son or daughter, soldiers like their husbands or wives live to defend us and our freedoms. As these fine patriots continue their journey from Fort Irwin, California to Arlington National Cemetery, we wish you Godspeed, and we share with you and the thanks of a grateful nation for the sacrifice which you honor with your run. God bless you, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Now I'd like to ask Jared Hawkinson if you could come up here and help me with something. Thank you, Jared. And Christian, Mr. Lutz, if you could get your whole team up here, please. Your running team, I've got some presentations I'd like to make. You can help me with this.
Mr. Mayor, yes, you could hold
To
this
the mayor.
and point it at us.
Sure.
He's some technology
If
challenge.
it goes off, the battery's not working.
Okay, all right. I'll keep it right there.
What I'd like to do is, I'd like to present each of you on behalf of all the Illinois veterans and in honor of Illinois' fallen. I'd like to present each of you with an Illinois flag that's flown over the Illinois Capitol in Springfield. I'd like to present each of you with one of these. And thank you very much for what you've done. I've got a certificate here also. It says, "I, Jesse White, Secretary of State, certify that this flag is flown atop the state capitol in Springfield, Illinois." Signed, Daniel M. Swanson, State Representative, Jesse White, Secretary of State. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
One last comment. Today, this fat belly went out and ran with these great Americans. I admit it. But it was overwhelming to be a part of the run today. It was hot. It wasn't as hot as Iraq. It was painful, but not as painful as some of the other stuff I endured in the Army. But it was just something, it was just such an awe-inspiring thing to stop every mile and recognize these great Americans. I mean, to do what you're doing for as long as you've been doing it, and as far as you've got yet to go, I just stand here in awe of what you've accomplished and what you have yet to accomplish. And for that, we are such a grateful nation, a state, and just wish you the best. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll welcome now to the stage, give him a big old Galesburg welcome. Singer-songwriter Rodney Morse.
I want to say thank you to Brother Bob for thinking of me to be just a small part of today. I'm privileged and honored to be here. I'm going to sing a song, and it's called Born in America. My brother wrote it a few years ago, and we've had some success with it. Our freedom isn't free. And I was thinking that, I take it for granted, and it's very humbling today and to hear you speak. Thank you for what you're doing. God bless you. This is called Born in America. We said the Pledge of Allegiance on our first day of school, where we learned about our country and about the golden rule, about our founding fathers who weren't afraid to say one nation under God, as united they would pray. Born in America, where my family roots grow deep. Born in America, where men of honor died to keep the freedom of this nation and the right to liberty. I am so proud to be born in America. How about you? We learned the value of $1, working with our hands, the foundation of a marriage between one woman and one man, and the precious gift of heaven of a newborn child. The right of life from God above, never to be defied. Born in America, where my family roots grow deep. Born in America, where men of honor died to keep the freedom
this nation and the right to liberty. I am so proud to be born in America. Some say this nation will never fall as they take the 10 Commandments off the wall. I won't see truth and morals turned into dust. I'll fight for my liberty, in God I trust. Born in America, where my family roots grow deep. Born in America, where men of honor died to keep the freedom of this nation and the right to liberty. I am so proud to be born in America. I thank you, Lord, and I thank you for America. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Proud to call that man my friend, singer-songwriter Rodney Morse. Let's give another big hand. Let's invite back our friend, Chaplain Major Scott Wilson, Air National Guard.
Here I'm supposed to pray for the food too. Is that right? Is that right? Okay. Well, would you bow with me in a word of prayer? Well, dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time that we can share together. We thank you for the time that we've had to honor those who have served our country faithfully. And we're mindful of their courage and their loyalty and their service and their sacrifice. May we carry their memory forever in our hearts and never forget that the freedom that we enjoy in this great land has come at a cost. May you guide and bless our country's armed forces and all those who make difficult decisions as they lead our communities, our state, our country. And now, Lord, as many go from here and eat, may you bless this food to our bodies. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen.
Some last words, George? Yeah, run for the fallen. Let's give another big hand to George and his crew today.
Just real quickly, those Gold Star families who are here tonight, one of the things that we'd like for you to do is to sign a flag that we've been carrying since the beginning. And I just want to open this and show you, but if you'll come over, probably over by the blue RV, we'll have a book and a flag to show you. Can you hold that open? This flag has been signed only once by each family that we have met over the last 70 days. We have met along the way, that have traveled thousands of miles, some of them, and dozens of hours to get to a point in time, in a moment, where we would call their loved one's name out loud for 30 seconds. And so you can see the number of families that this obviously meant something to. I mean, not that it doesn't to everyone, but they took it upon themselves to come out and find us. And so we would like those families, even though you aren't on the run, you are here with us. And we'd like for you to identify your loved one, and by signing our flag and signing this book. This is just for Gold Star families, just one signature. And the other thing is, a lot of people ask us about where they can get shirts and hats, things. If anybody's interested in any of that, because obviously it helps us get to the next city and the next one. We do have some stuff also over by the blue RV. I don't know how many of you are going to eat, so if you're interested and you're not going to eat, then come see us over here on the left. Anything helps us on our journey. Thank you guys. This is an amazing, amazing outpouring, and it energizes us as we'll begin to start tomorrow at 5 a.m. and continue on. east. Thank you and God bless.
And it makes me proud to live in Galesburg to see you all out there. Let's give another big hand to all our veterans who are here, those that we lost, the men and women. Have fun gathering for fellowship at the Readiness Center. And thanks for coming out tonight.